What's up, everybody? Welcome to ZB Trading, and today the video is going to be about finding a support and resistance. Now, this concept is very basic, but for people who have never traded or are starting to just trade, this is a very good concept to know right off rip. If you don't know what support and resistance are levels that the market bounces or rejects off of. So here I have pulled up the 15-minute. Now you could find levels on like the 5-minute, but I would suggest the higher time frame. So 15, 30, 1 hour. Sometimes I like using even the 4-hour. Now you don't need every single level. Like you don't need to be like, oh my God, it bounced here. Oh my God, it rejected here. You just need the important ones. Sometimes I might skip over a support level or a resistance level because I memorize it in my head. I'm like, we've been chopping here all week, so I know about that level. So right now I'm hiding my levels because I don't want you guys to see what I've marked. But I would suggest pausing the video right here and just looking at this and thinking about where you would put a support level and where you would put a resistance level. So I thought this would be a pretty good example because we have been chopping pretty much all week. We have finally kind of broke out today. I was expecting this move because it's kind of like a double top. If I go to the 45, you guys will see here, this would be a resistance right here because it is a key point where the market has rejected and it has came down. Now your levels don't have to be exactly on the dot because as you go down to the smaller time frames, it's going to look a little different. Before today, I was either expecting this to, fly upwards and we would make a new high, or I was expecting this a sell-off. Now the reason I was expecting that is because, it's kind of like a double top. A double top is kind of like a pattern. It pretty much rejects off of the same resistance twice, and then it kind of flushes. Now, by flush, I don't mean it has to like absolutely market crash, but it goes downwards. So as we saw here, we kind of had a double top. It didn't touch it exactly, right? But it came up and then we flushed down for today. If you guys would like to learn about liquidity sweeps, there's tons of videos out there on liquidity sweeps. But with what happened today, so we pretty much chopped for about like 7, 8, 9 days. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not going to count all this right now. But a liquidity sweep pretty much happened today and then it went down. So right here, you would say there's a resistance, right? So right now, I'll show you. I already had it marked right here, right? So we have a resistance here, right? Hit it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. And then Friday at the end of the day, we got to push up and then it rejected off of this other resistance, which this one is from the last high, which was in July, which was right here. So as you guys know, right now is September and these levels were from July. So as you see, 1, 2, this is kind of like 3, but it went up here, which is why I marked the resistance up here too. And then hit that, came all the way down. We were bearish. Now, in September, we have been chopping around these levels for an entire week, and we are still rejecting 1, 2, 3, 4, and then went up on Friday. And on Monday morning, we rejected the high from July, and then we kind of flushed downwards. So, a few minutes ago, I told you to pause the video and try to find support and resistances. These are the levels I have marked, right? And I told you guys I'm not going to mark every single level. So right here, you could say that this is a support, right? So right here, right? Kinda. Right here, I just don't have it marked, but it could be because we have 1, 2, kinda, 3, 4, 5. I'm not going to mark that though, because I kind of just have already memorized it throughout the week. And when you're finding support and resistances, go to a higher time frame. Like right now, I flipped to the 45. Right? You're looking back here, right? Boom, boom, boom. Right here, boom. We bounced here. We bounced here. We rejected up here, which is why we have this here. Not only does it just bounce here, but, it looks like it came down here and it bounced here. We're rejecting here. It starts to bounce here. I'm sure there's something further back here on why I have. And not all of my levels are going to be perfect. They're not always going to be the best, right? So right here, it's very simple to tell that this is going to be support here. Very easy to tell this is going to be support here. And maybe right here, I didn't find this level on a higher time frame. Maybe I found it while I was trading on the 5. So right here, you might be wondering, why do I have these supports here? Well, on the lower time frame, there must be a lot of chop here. So I have these levels very close to each other. And you might also be wondering why I don't have a level here on 538, because as you can see, it touched it twice. The reason I don't have it here is because I kind of see this as manipulation or liquidity sweeps. And the reason I say that is, look, it breaks down and the next day it goes right back up. Right here, it breaks down and it goes right back up. So I don't really see these as level. The reason I put these two here is because there's a lot of chop here, a lot of bouncing, and a lot of resistance. So as you can see, bounce, reject, you know, bouncing here. Like I said, these were manipulation phases, right? Bouncing here. And on a lower time frame, it is most likely going up and down on this support and resistance. So when you're marking levels, you really have to be cautious about if it's a liquidity sweep or if it's an actual level. Now you can go into the lower time frames and see like, okay, this is a liquidity sweep or this is a resistance, a support, stuff like that. I marked it here, right? Rejected here once, rejected here twice, 3 times, 4 times. Now every time it's went over, right, these wicks, and it's even closed above all that, these are fake outs. These are manipulation. The reason you want to go on the higher time frames is so you can see a better image of what's going on. So as you can see here, it's bouncing here, and my support's not perfectly on the dot on this wick or anything like that. Now, what I would consider this is maybe a fake out or stuff like that. And also, when you're marking support and resistance levels, what can help you is go to the higher time frame. So like right here on the 45-minute, and look for spots that cause massive moves. So like this resistance, as you can see, every time it's rejected off this, there's been a pretty big move, right? Boom, 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 boom. You could say every time it has hit the support here, it has had a decent bounce, right? So boom, 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 boom. So the easiest way is to look for levels that just cause massive moves. The 4 hour is a little easier to see, kind of. So like right here, you could say it rejected a decent amount. So boom, rejected here, fell down here. Well, we had a pullback, rejected here, fell down here. So right here, I would probably say 556.50. I like to have my levels on stuff like, so on the cent range, 40, 20, 80, stuff like that. So 556.50, 556.20, 556.80, stuff like that. So right here, I would say 556.50, 51 doesn't matter. So here we could possibly say there's a support because it rejected here. It's bouncing here. So right here, 548.43, I would probably just go to 548.50. So right here, we're seeing a lot of bouncing off of this. We kind of see rejections. It doesn't mean it's going to be perfect, right? Because this is the 4 hour. It's not the smaller time frame. But what I would do is 542.20 right there. If we go here, we can see that there's kind of a resistance here, right? Rejects, rejects, rejects. So right here, 531.50. Right here, I would say is possibly a support. Why? Well, as we can see on the left side, there's kind of rejections here. And then here, there's a bounce, a decent move. So as we see, 525.50 to 530.50. So that's about a $5 move. It's a pretty good bounce. Right here, 525.50. My support and resistance is an action on the 5-minute time frame, which this is what I trade on. But as you guys can see, these are my levels on the 5-minute, right? So it's not rejecting off of it perfectly, right? It's kind of chopping above it, coming back down, stuff like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. This morning, we also opened up. Boom. We're stuck on a resistance. And it doesn't always have to bounce or even reject off of a level. Sometimes it can break right through. So today, right, I don't have any resistances or anything here, although I probably could put one here, 558.58 or something like that. I'm not going to do it, but, you know, and as you see here today, it kind of just broke right through. And then here again to end the day, it came to 550.75. It came down and then it came right back up. So it doesn't have to bounce perfectly. It doesn't have to reject perfectly. You just got to know what the candles are going to do. You got to study how the candles react to your levels. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope I helped some of you guys that are new to trading, that don't even know where to begin. I'll probably do a few more videos on some basic things, and then I'll start going into strategies. But for today, support and resistance. Hope you guys enjoyed.